Good morning, students. So we are in the session 3 of system of particles and rotational motion. In Canada, we are going to continue with our discussion about the center of mass. So center of mass முடிச்சிட்டு we will also look at the concept of center of gravity. அதுக்கப்புறம் we will look at what is the significance of the center of mass. And because remember what we said in the beginning of the discussion about center of mass. என்ன சொல்லிருக்கோம்? Center of mass which we will be able to find out or we will be able to understand the overall motion of the system of particles. அதுதானா? So how the center of mass sort of motion is related to the overall motion of the particles. அது நம்ம பார்க்கலாம். ஓகேவா? So we'll start with the discussion. So we are currently in the center of mass of extended bodies. Extended body anu sonna idhula நம்ம நிறைய examples பார்த்திருக்கோம். So first thing is what? For the symmetric bodies with uniform mass distribution, right? Again, the geometric center will be the center of mass. Okay va? Adukapram we have looked at some cases, some special cases, like a half disc and madri semicircular ring. Adukapram the right circular cone and madri special cases. Then we have seen some modified objects. Like we have solved this particular problem, right? Like we have a lamina or a blade which is see overall neenga paathanga that is irregular, but neenga cut panna this is like what? Two parts, two symmetric parts madri. Okay, so angepadi we will find what is the center of mass of the first symmetric part and the madri what is center of mass location for the second symmetric part. In the rendu center of mass order we will take the that weighted average formula. Okay, adi vechi we will be able to find out what is the location of the overall center of mass of that given object and the madri. Okay, so this is what we have seen in the case of the center of mass of the extended bodies. Okay, இன்னைக்கு என்னன்னா we will start with the concept of center of mass of residual body. So correct பாருங்க, what is residual body ன்னு சொன்னா residue என்னது? Anything remaining is called as what? Residue. அதுதானா? So say for example, இப்போ நம்ம கிட்ட ஒரு பாடி இருக்குன்னு வெச்சுக்கோங்க. There is an object. Okay, அதுல இருந்து we are cutting some part of it. ஆப்ஜெக்ட்ல இருந்து we are cutting some part of it. Okay, so cut பண்ணா இந்த part நம்ம கட் பண்ணி வெச்சுக்கோங்க. We are cutting some part of it. Okay, then they will ask us, இந்த மாதிரி தான் questions வரும். They will ask us what is the location of center of mass of remaining portion or residue portion. Okay, so they will be asking us what? They will be asking us to tell what is the center of mass of the remaining portion or the residue portion. இங்க என்னன்னா the residue portion will be looking very asymmetric மாதிரி தான் இருக்கும். இதுல the remaining portion, right, will not be a symmetric one. But நமக்கு வர problems என்னன்னா we will be given the overall object பார்த்தீங்கன்னா it will be symmetric. That is how they will generally frame the questions. Overall object will be symmetric. அந்த மாதிரி இந்த cut portion தெரியுமா? Cut portion also will be symmetric. Okay, the overall object is going to be symmetric. அந்த மாதிரி the cut portion is also going to be symmetric. அந்த மாதிரி situations based பண்ணி தான் we will be given questions. Okay, இப்போ இங்க approach எப்படின்னு பாருங்க. The cut portion ஓட center of mass location identify பண்ண முடியும். என்ன? because that is what? It's a symmetric object. Okay, so இப்போ cut portion ஓட center of mass location and center of mass location of the residue part அந்த ரெண்டோட நீங்க weighted average எடுத்தா same concept நம்ம இதுக்கு முன்னாடி பண்ண மாதிரி weighted average எடுத்தா that is going to give us what? அதுல இருந்து என்ன? we will be able to get center of mass of the overall object. கரெக்டா புரிஞ்சுக்கோங்க. what is it? A cut portion இருக்கா? cut portion plus the residue. And the ரெண்டோட நீங்க center of mass location எடுத்தா what is it going to be? Center of mass of the overall object தானா? So அந்த concept வச்சு we are going to solve this. Okay. So இங்க என்ன தெரியுமா? The cut portion ஓட center of mass location நமக்கு தெரியும். ஏன்னா that will be symmetric. So ஒரு example வச்சு நம்ம பார்க்கலாம். Okay. So cut portion ஓட center of mass location இந்த coordinates நமக்கு தெரியும். அந்த மாதிரி overall object ஓட center of mass coordinates நமக்கு தெரியும். ஏன்னா because this is also symmetric. அவங்கள கொடுத்த எக்ஸாம்பிள்ஸ் எப்படி இருக்கும்னா overall object will be symmetric. அந்த மாதிரி cut portion also will be symmetric. So இந்த வேல்யூ நமக்கு தெரியும், இந்த வேல்யூ நமக்கு தெரியும். அந்த weighted average formula ல இருந்து we will be able to find out what is the center of mass location for the residual part. அதுதான் இங்க நடக்கிற approach. Okay. இது எப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு we will have to look at an example. அப்பதான் நம்ம கரெக்ட்டா புரியும். Okay. பாருங்க. From a uniform disk of radius r. So நான் சொன்ன தெரியுமா the overall object will be what? Symmetric. இங்க பாருங்க. From a uniform disk of radius r, a small disk of radius r by 2 is cut as shown in the figure. இங்க பாருங்க. பெரிய disk இருக்கு of radius r. அதுல இருந்து we are cutting a small disk. இது என்னது? இதுதான் cut portion. White color இருக்கா? Okay. And the gray color is the remaining portion. What is the thing in the gray color? There is the remaining portion. Okay. So paranga, what is the question they are asking us? The distance of the center of mass of the remaining disk from the origin. Origin landu we have to tell what is the distance of the center of mass of the remaining part. So remaining part and sonna in the gray color irukku theriyuma adha remaining part. White color irukadhu this is the cut portion. This is the cut portion, okay va? Gray color irukadhu this is the remaining part. This is the remaining part, okay va? So ipo enna we will go back to the approach. In approach eppadi nadikum? And the remaining part oda center of mass da nama calculate pananum. Okay. Inga parunga overall the period disk irukku theriyuma அதோட center of mass location எங்க வரும்? Geometric center means origin தானா? Okay. So பாருங்க for the big disk center of mass அதோட x coordinate என்ன சொல்லலாம்? X center of mass ன்னு சொல்லலாம். What is it going to be? 0. ஏன்னா that is the origin. Okay. For the small disk or that cut portion, எந்த portion நம்ம கட் பண்ணிருக்கோம் that part for the small disk, right? இங்க பாருங்க அதோட geometric center எங்க வரும்? So what is the radius of this r by 2, right? Means origin வந்து it is at a distance of what? Minus r by 2. ஏன்னா left side will take it negative, right? இங்க நம்ம எடுத்த coordinate system base பண்ணி right side is positive, left side negative. So for the small disk or the cut portion அதோட center of mass coordinates xcm 1 and சொல்லலாம். Or we can even take it as what? x1 and எடுக்கலாம். x1. What is x1 oda value? It will be minus r by 2. Okay va? Remaining portion. For the remaining portion center of mass x coordinate நம்ம x2 ன்னு சொல்லலாம். Okay va? x2 இது நமக்கு தெரியாது. இத நம்ம கால்குலேட் பண்ணனும். x2 வேல்யூ நமக்கு தெரியாது. அத நம்ம கால்குலேட் பண்ணனும். ஓகே. இப்போ எப்படி இத ரிலேட் பண்றது? நம்ம சொன்ன மாதிரி the cut portion remaining part அதோட center of mass locations weighted average எடுத்தா அதுல இருந்து we are going to get what? The overall disk ஓட center of mass location. அப்படிதானா? சோ அதுக்கு என்னன்னா நமக்கு என்ன தேணும்? We will require the mass. Masses தேவைப்படும். ஓகே. சோ இங்க பாருங்க let m is the total big disk oda mass. Anyway, what is the mass of the big disk? Capital M. Okay. So what is the disk and so now we will talk about the surface density, right? What is the surface density? Surface density what is surface density? M divided by pi r square. Adana. And the area of the total area of that bigger disk is what? Pi r square. Okay. So if we can find what is the mass of the small disk. Eppadi? Just the surface density multiplied by area of the small disk. இங்க பாருங்க, what is the area of the small disk? The small disk ஓட ஏரியா எவ்வளவு வரும் பாருங்க, pi into r by 2 the square, which is what, pi r square by 4. ஓகேவா? so pi r square by 4 which நம்ம மல்டிப்ளை பண்ணா என்ன வருது, pi r square cancel ஆயிடும். so what is the mass of the small disk? m by 4. but the bigger disk ஓட mass நம்ம capital M எடுத்தா what is the mass of the small disk? என்ன வருது, m by 4 வருது. so what is the mass of the remaining part? 3m by 4. and it will be what, m minus m by 4 தானா. so what is the mass of the remaining part? என்ன வருது, it is coming as what, 3m by 4. இப்போ இந்த ரிமைனிங் பார்ட்டோட சென்டர் ஆஃப் மாஸ் லொகேஷன் அதுதான் நம்ம x2 ஆ வெச்சுக்கிறோம், அது வேரியபிள். ஓகே, the cut portion of center of mass location நமக்கு தெரியும் x1, அது என்னது minus r by 2. overall disk ஓட center of mass location என்னது origin. okay, இப்போ பாருங்க, what is the formula we will be using? the overall disk ஓட center of mass location, overall disk ஓட center of mass location, right? and the weighted average formula ன்னு சொன்னா we are going to use m1 x1 plus m2 x2 அந்த formula. ஓகேவா? overall disk ஓட center of mass location, x center of mass, that is always 0 or 3 நமக்கு. okay, ஏன்னா that will be the geometric center, right? is equal to what, m1 x1. so cut portion ஓட mass என்னது m by 4, அதோட coordinate என்ன minus r by 2 plus m2 remaining part ஓட mass 3m by 4, அதோட x coordinate of center of mass அது நமக்கு தெரியாது, அத நம்ம கால்குலேட் பண்ணணும். டிவைட் பை டோட்டல் மாஸ் ன்னு சொன்னா what is it, capital M. இப்போ பாருங்க, இது நீங்க லெஃப்ட் சைடுல எடுத்துட்டு வந்தா that will be anyway 0. 0 into something means 0. so இங்க பாருங்க 0 is equal to minus mr by 8, okay, plus 3m by 4 into x2. okay, what is it, minus mr by 8 plus 3m by 4 into x2. okay, இதுல இருந்து we have to calculate the value of x2. அவ்வளவுதானா? இதுல இருந்து we have to calculate the value of x2. பாருங்க, what is it, இது நம்ம லெஃப்ட் சைடு எடுத்து வந்தா it will become what, plus ஆயிடும். okay, mr by 8 is equal to what, 3m by 4 into x2. இங்க பாருங்க m cancel ஆயிடும். okay, அதுக்கப்புறம் 4 1s are 4 2s are. so பாருங்க, r by 2 is equal to 3 times x2. 3 நம்ம left side எடுத்துட்டு வந்தா it will go to the denominator, right? so denominator போனா it will be what, r by 2 into 3, which is what, r by 6. so the center of mass of the remaining portion, right, அதோட location என்ன, what is it, r by 6 means எங்க இருக்கும், it will be what, it will be on the right side la. what is the position, r by 6. இங்க நம்ம y coordinate பத்தி டிஸ்கஸ் பண்றது கிடையாது, ஏன்னா because இது என்னது symmetric with respect to the vertical direction, which means what, the center of mass of bigger disk ஆகட்டும் or the cut portion or the remaining part, right, they will all be lying only on the x-axis மேல தான் வரும். okay, so பாருங்க, what is this idea of the residual body, cut portion, remaining part, அந்த ரெண்டோட weighted average எடுத்தா we are going to get the center of mass location of the overall object, and the concept which is that we are going to solve this residual body problems. okay வா, ஒண்ணும் இல்ல, this is like what, ஒரு modification மாதிரி. okay, Maithili and others check பண்ணுங்க whether you are able to get the same answer. x2 ஓட வேல்யூ என்ன வரணும், it should be coming as what, r by 6. இதுவும் ஒரு ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் ரிசல்ட் தான், நம்ம எடுத்த ப்ராப்ளம் இட்ஸ் a very standard problem. okay, So the remaining portion of the center of mass will be at a distance of r by 6 from the center of the original disk. And the center of the original disk தான் நம்ம origin எடுத்தது. Center of the original disk ல இருந்து it is at a distance of r by 6. ஓகேவா? So அடுத்து பாருங்க center of gravity. Already Newton's laws of motion அந்த கான்டெக்ஸ்ட்லயும் நம்ம இத பத்தி பேசிருக்கோம். ஓகே, what is center of gravity? இப்போ நிறைய particles, system of particles இருக்குன்னு வெச்சுக்கோங்க. System of particles ஆகட்டும் or the extended body. Let's say we are taking two particles. Okay, center of gravity எப்படி நம்ம find out பண்றது? It is the point at which the whole weight of the system is supposed to act. பாருங்க, center of mass definition எப்படி நம்ம define பண்றது? It is the point where the entire mass of the body is assumed to be concentrated. அங்க என்ன சொல்லிருக்கோம்? mass ன்னு சொல்லிருக்கோம். இங்க என்னது? the total weight of that system is supposed to act. அந்த ஒரு point the center of gravity. Okay, எப்படின்னு பாருங்க, if you are having the weight of particle 1 w, weight என்னது? m1 into, actually என்ன தெரியுமா, we have to also consider if there is a change in the acceleration due to gravity value. Okay, we have to also consider if there is a change in the acceleration due to gravity value. Okay, இப்போ m1 இருக்கிற இடத்துல let us say the acceleration due to value g1 வெச்சுக்கோங்க. அந்த மாதிரி m2 இருக்கிற இடத்துல let's say the acceleration due to gravity என்னது? g2. இப்போ பாருங்க, what will be the formula? Center of gravity, it will be the w1 into r1. So center of mass case ல என்னது? m1 into r1 plus m2 into r2 by m1 plus m2. அப்படிதானா? So இங்க என்னது பாருங்க, it is the point where the entire weight of the system is supposed to act, right? So அதனால it will be got w1 into r1 plus w2 into r2 divided by w1 plus w2. So அங்க என்ன? The weightage is given based on the mass. Center of mass weighted average formula la, what is it? The weightage is given based upon the mass. ஒரு பார்ட்டிகளோட பொசிஷன் வெக்டர் நம்ம அந்த மாஸ் வச்சு மல்டிப்ளை பண்ணிருக்கோம். பட் இங்க என்ன தெரியுமா? we will multiply this with the corresponding weight. இப்ப பாருங்க, so what is it going to be? w1 ன்னு சொன்னா m1 g1 into r1 plus m2 g2 r2 divided by m1 g1 plus m2 g2. இங்க என்ன தெரியுமா? if, இது ஒரு இம்பார்ட்டன்டான கண்டிஷன். okay, if the region has uniform gravity and சொன்னா என்னது? acceleration due to gravity oda value is constant everywhere. அப்படி இருந்தா then g1 is going to be equal to what? 0. g2, g1 is equal to g2, right? அப்படியே நீங்க கேன்சல் பண்ணுங்க, நியூமரேட்டர் டினாமினேட்டர்லயும் கேன்சல் பண்ணா what we will get? என்ன வருது? m1 r1 plus m2 r2 by m1 plus m2. இது என்னது? center of mass location தானா? so எப்போ ரெண்டு கோயின்சைட் ஆகும்? it's a very important standard results. எப்போ ரெண்டு கோயின்சைட் ஆகும்? when the region that we are having is having uniform gravity. அப்ப என்னன்னா அந்த g அப்படியே கேன்சல் ஆயிடும். so அதுல இருந்து what is the conclusion we are able to get? Center of gravity of the body will coincide with, so இங்க என்னன்னா we are using the discrete particles formula. அதே இந்த continuous body இருந்து வெச்சுக்கோங்க, we will get the integration formula. அவ்வளவு தான் difference. Continuous body இருந்தா what we are going to get? We are going to get the integration formula. okay, but if the region is having uniform gravity, means acceleration due to gravity value is constant everywhere. அப்ப என்ன தெரியுமா? The center of mass will coincide with the center of gravity. maximum cases ல இப்படி தான் இருக்கும். ஏன்னா the objects ஆகட்டும் or the system of particles we consider, நம்ம எடுத்த objects or the system of particles, right? அது எப்படி? they will be in a very small region, right? the small region ல acceleration due to gravity value அந்த அளவுக்கு vary ஆகாது. so next chapter இதுதான் gravitation. அங்க என்ன we will try to see if you go very high above the surface of the earth, இல்லனா if you go deeper into the earth, அப்பதான் இந்த variations வரும். but for like say for example இது நம்ம ஆப்ஜெக்ட் எடுத்து வெச்சுக்கோங்க, this is not spread in a larger area, larger volume இது spread ஆகிறது கிடையாது. so it's a very small region, right? so அதனால என்னன்னா for all these points acceleration due to gravity value will be almost the same. அப்ப என்ன கன்க்ளூட் பண்ணலாம்? for this இது extended body தானா? the marker என்னது? it's an extended body. so for this marker center of mass is going to coincide with the center of gravity. Okay, so on the point in correct now, look at this. These are another important points. We can expect some theoretical questions to come. Okay, Paranga, what is the other point? The center of gravity of a rigid body is a point either on the body, outside the body, okay, at which the entire weight of the body is considered to be concentrated. In the same concept we talked about in the case of center of mass also. Now center of mass, we said center of mass can be on the body or outside the body. Even the example, what is it? The ring. When a ring, for a ring where the mass will be on the circumference or the perimeter. But center of mass, it will be on the geometric center, which is outside the ring. Okay, so center of gravity, center of gravity can be on the body or it can be outside the body. Okay, at the point paranga, this is already derive. Okay, what is it? In a region of uniform gravitational field, and so now what is it? That is the acceleration due to gravity. Okay, this we'll see in the next chapter. Okay, so in a region of uniform gravitational field, the center of mass and center of gravity of the uniform rigid body will coincide. So the rigid body order center of mass and center of gravity, right, will be what? Coinciding. When we have the region which is having a uniform gravitational field or uniform acceleration due to gravity. Okay, at the point paranga, if the gravitational field is not uniform, then what is going to happen? The center of gravity and center of mass will not coincide. So the center of mass and center of gravity may not be coinciding. Okay. Fourth point paranga, the center of gravity of a body, right, has no meaning in a region where there is no effective gravitational field. The point correct. Center of mass, okay, always has the significance. Center of mass or the significance will be there always. And center of mass, naman the formula calculate pannabodu, the existence of forces or non-existence, that does not matter. In a center of mass formula, look at the formula, weighted average formula, m1x1 plus m2x2 divide by m1 plus m2 plus m3. So in the formula, are we talking about what are the forces acting on the body and the madri? Like center of mass, other significance will be there whether the body is experiencing a forces or not. That does not matter. But center of gravity, center of gravity, if we are in a place where there is no gravitational field, okay, and America region la gravitational field area nachkonga. What is the center of gravity formula? What is it that we had? What is it? M1 G1 R1 plus M2 G2 R2 divided by M1 G1 plus M2 G2. Gravitational field illana G1 is equal to 0 and G2 is equal to 0. Overall, the center of gravity, right, will not have any significance. That's the meaning. So center of gravity will be having meaning only in a place where there is an gravitational field. Gravitational field illana center of gravity or meaning irkadu. Okay, okay, so center of gravity will be linked to the gravitational field, but center of mass appadi kadiyadu. Center of mass will not be linked to anything. So center of mass, right, of the rigid body has meaning or significance in each and every region. Whether there is a force acting on the object or not, center of mass will always have a meaning and significance. But center of gravity appadi kadiyadu. If there is no gravitational field or region la gravitational field illana, then center of gravity in that region will not have any meaning. Okay, so these are some of the important theoretical points about the center of gravity. So we can expect some questions. In fact, this is a question that has come in the 1997. Okay, so AAPMT, All India Pre-Medical Test, right? 1997, this is the question that has come. The center of mass of system of particles does not depend upon. எதுக்கு மேல டிபெண்ட் ஆகாது. ஓகே, ஆப்ஷன் ஏல பாருங்க, பொசிஷன் ஆஃப் த பார்ட்டிகல்ஸ். பொசிஷன் ஆஃப் த பார்ட்டிகல்ஸ் மேல கண்டிப்பா டிபெண்ட் ஆகும். ஏன்னா நீங்க பாருங்க அந்த வெயிட்டட் ஆவரேஜ் ஃபார்முலால வாட் இஸ் இட், பொசிஷன்ஸ் வருது, x1 is coming, x2 is coming, அதுதானா. So கண்டிப்பா it depends upon the position of particles. Relative distance between the particles, yes. And a relative distance and so on, what is it, that is going to decide what will be the position. Relative distance is going to depend upon what, position மேல தான் depend ஆகும். So it is going to depend upon the relative distance between the particles also. Option C பாருங்க, mass of the particles, definitely ஏன்னா அந்த ஃபார்முலால mass வரும். Okay, option D பாருங்க, forces acting on the particle. So center of mass or location, நம்ம location identify பண்ணும்போது forces acting on the particle will never be considered. ஏன்னா பாருங்க weighted average formula பாருங்க, what is it, is equal to what, m1 x1 plus m2 x2. இதுல என்ன, are we consider what is the force acting on m1, what is the force acting on m2, இல்லையே, which means what, center of mass of particles or the position, right, will not depend upon the forces acting on the particles. அதை நம்ம இதுக்கு முன்னாடி பார்த்திருக்கோம். In a region where there is no gravitational field, அங்க என்ன center of gravity ஓட மீனிங் இருக்காது, but center of mass will always have significance. எல்லா இடத்துலயும் நம்ம center of mass depend பண்ணலாம். So what is the answer for this question சொல்லுங்க, option D. So center of mass of the system of particles depends on the position of the particles, also depends upon the relative distance between particles. ஏன்னா relative distance is related to the position தானா, particles ஓட position base பண்ணி தான் relative distance வரும். கண்டிப்பா it depends upon the mass of particles, but எதுக்கு மேல டிபெண்ட் ஆகாது, it will not depend upon the forces acting on the particles. Okay, so good Maithili. அடுத்த question பாருங்க. This is a question எப்போ 2002 ல வந்தது. A rod of length 3 meter, okay, and its mass per unit length is directly proportional to the distance x from one of its end. பாருங்க, சேதனதி யூனிஃபார்ம் ராட் கிடையாதா, it's not a uniform rod, it's a non uniform. பாருங்க, so இப்போ இது நம்ம origin எடுத்து வெச்சுக்கோங்க, this is the origin, one end. அங்கல இருந்து if you take a point at a distance x, okay, அங்க இருக்கிற ஒரு small element dx னு வெச்சுக்கோங்க. What is the mass per unit length? Mass per unit length is a directly proportional to distance x. Means we can say mass per length என்ன சொல்லலாம், directly proportional னு சொன்னா we can say k into x. k என்னது constant. Okay, இதை நம்ம introduce பண்ண constant, இது final answerல வரக்கூடாது. Okay, so இப்போ பாருங்க, this element, இந்த dx element நம்ம எடுத்த element, right, அதோட mass, small mass, அது எவ்வளவு வரும், mass per unit length into the length of that element dx. Then this is the mass of that small element. Okay, இப்போ என்னது, we have to find the center of gravity or location. என்னது, we have to find the center of gravity location from the end. So நம்ம எந்த end ஒரு எடுக்கிறோமோ origin, அங்கல இருந்து we have to find what is the distance of the center of gravity. Means என்னது, we have to find the, இங்க என்ன எல்லா points x axis ல தான், all the particles are on the x axis. So we have to find the x coordinate of the center of gravity. இங்க பாருங்க, this is, they have not mentioned about the gravitational field or acceleration due to gravity பத்தி mention பண்ணல, which means we'll assume that the acceleration due to gravity is constant. Constant னு எடுத்தா center of gravity and center of mass will coincide, அதுதானா. சரி, என்ன கேக்குறாங்க, center of gravity கேக்குறாங்க, but we can find center of mass ஏன்னா because this is a region with uniform gravitational field, which means center of gravity யும் center of mass ரெண்டும் coincide ஆகும். Okay, அவ்வளவுதான். What is the formula, center of mass x coordinate, right, ஞாபகம் இருக்கா, what is the formula, integral dm into x divided by integral dm, அதுதானா. For the extended body integration formula, x center of mass என்ன, integral dm into x, இது ஆல்ரெடி நம்ம லாஸ்ட் கிளாஸ்ல பார்த்திருக்கோம், integral dm into x by integral dm, இதுதானா. So பாருங்க, integral dm into x ன்னு சொன்னா what is it, dm is what, kx dx. திருப்பி x வருது. இன்டெகிரல் dm ன்னு சொன்னா வெறும் இந்த kx dx மட்டும் தான். ஓகே, இப்போ பாருங்க நியூமரேட்டர்லயும் டினாமினேட்டர்ல அந்த k அப்படியே வெளியே வரும். ஏன்னா k is a constant. So what is there in the numerator என்ன இருக்கா? integral x square dx இருக்கா. denominatorல integral x dx. லிமிட்ஸ் என்னது பாருங்க. It's a rod of length எவ்வளவு 3 meters. So 0 ல இருந்து we have to integrate up to 3. என்னது 0 ல இருந்து we have to integrate up to what? 3. Okay. இப்போ பாருங்க numeratorல what is it that we are having? Integral x square dx. Integral x square dx ன்னு சொன்னா what is it? x cube by 3 தானா? So இந்த பார்ட் நம்ம ரிமூவ் பண்ணலாம். Integral x square dx ன்னு சொன்னா what is it? x cube by 3. அவ்வளவுதான். இதுக்கப்புறம் அந்த எக்ஸ்பிரஷன் மட்டும் நம்ம சிம்பிளிஃபை பண்ணணும். ஸோ எக்ஸ் சென்டர் ஆஃப் மாஸ் என்ன பாருங்க, வாட் இஸ் இட்? இன்டெகிரல் எக்ஸ் ஸ்கொயர் டிஎக்ஸ் சொன்னா என்னது? எக்ஸ் கியூப் பை 3. லிமிட்ஸ் ஆர் வாட்? 0 ல இருந்து அப் டு 3. டினாமினேட்டர்ல இன்டெகிரல் எக்ஸ் டிஎக்ஸ். இன்டெகிரல் எக்ஸ் டிஎக்ஸ் சொன்னா வாட் இஸ் இட்? எக்ஸ் ஸ்கொயர் பை 2 தானா? இதையும் அப்படிதான். லிமிட்ஸ் ஆர் 0 to 3. பாருங்க 3 cube by 3 minus 0 cube by 3. 0 cube ன்னு சொன்னா 0 தானா? டிவைட் பை டினாமினேட்டர் என்ன? 3 square by 2 minus 0 square by 2. ஸோ இது என்ன பாருங்க, 3 cube ன்னு சொன்னா என்னது? 27. 27 by 3 means 9 வருது. டிவைட் பை டினாமினேட்டர் என்ன வருது பாருங்க, 9 square by 2 means 3 square by 2 means 9 by 2. சாரி. ஓகே, இப்போ பாருங்க 9 9 கேன்சல் ஆயிடும். 2 அப்படியே நியூமரேட்டர்ல போயிடும். It will be what? 2. Units is in meters, right? So அதனால it will be coming in what? 2 meters. So நம்ம எடுத்த அந்த ராடோட center of mass as well as center of gravity. ஏன்னா because this is a uniform gravitational field case. அதனால center of massum center of gravity ரெண்டும் coincide ஆகும். Okay. So center of mass or center of gravity location அது எங்க வருது? It is coming at a இப்போ இந்த நம்ம fixed end எடுத்து தெரியுமா? அது என்னது? origin நம்ம place பண்ணிருக்கோம். அங்க இருந்து the center of gravity agala or the center of mass, it is at what position? 2 meters. Okay, so I'm going to get the distance of that center of gravity from that particular fixed end. So what is the answer? Option B is the answer. Only just on the center of mass formula for the non-uniform mass distribution. Again, typically we have to use the integration approach. So on the fixed end we have taken a small element dx. We have done the integration approach for finding the center of mass coordinate. Okay va? So in the problems we practice pannanom. Because this kind of question, it's an integration based question da, but it has already come in one of the past years. Okay, so another question paranga, this is a very good question. Okay, and this has come in one of the NEET la kadiyadu, but it has come in one of the other entrance examination, and there are chances in the madri questions varadhukku there will be good amount of chances. Enna idla in the integration adella involve agadu. That's why these kind of questions will be very much important models and solla. Okay, paranga particles of masses m, 2m, 3m appadiye up to nm grams are placed on the same line at distance L, 2L, 3L and the madri from the fixed point. Or a fixed point and so now we can take it like a origin itself. Angle and we are placing m at a position L. Adukapram 2m at a position 2L, 3m at a position 3L and the madri, 4m at a position 4L. Apdi we are placing all the particles. Ingana calculate the distance of the center of mass of the particles from the fixed point. So distance of the center of mass of the particles from fixed point and sonna, because nama edutha fixed point and the origin dana, which means xcm nama calculate panna avladha. Idu nama calculate panna x center of mass. Paranga what is the formula? Center of mass what x coordinate enna varum? It will be what? m1 x1 plus m2 x2 plus m3 x3 அப்படியே up to what? nm into nl. Because there are n number of particles. Denominator என்ன வரும்? m plus 2m plus 3m அந்த மாதிரி தானா? up to nm. okay. பாருங்க இங்க நிறைய காம்ப்ளிகேட்டட் சிச்சுவேஷன் கிடையாது. ஜஸ்ட் என்னன்னா we have to use some of the basic mathematics ஓட கான்செப்ட்ஸ். இங்க பாருங்க அப்படியே நியூமரேட்டர்லயும் டினாமினேட்டர்லயும் m can be cancelled. ஸோ பாருங்க ஒரு டேர்ம்லயும் m வருது. ஸோ அதனால we can cancel that m part. m நம்ம கேன்சல் பண்ணா நியூமரேட்டர்ல இருந்து l நம்ம காமன் எடுக்கலாம். l காமன் எடுத்தா என்ன வரும் பாருங்க, 1 ஸ்கொயர் பிளஸ் 2 ஸ்கொயர் பிளஸ் 3 ஸ்கொயர் அந்த மாதிரி அப் டு n ஸ்கொயர் நியூமரேட்டர்ல. டினாமினேட்டர்ல 1 plus 2 plus 3 அந்த மாதிரி up to n. நியூமரேட்டர்ல இருக்கா 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square அந்த மாதிரி. டினாமினேட்டர்ல 1 plus 2 plus 3 and so on up to n. Okay. So ஏன் நம்ம இந்த ப்ராப்ளம் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் னு சொல்லி தெரியுமா? Because remember we use these mathematical expressions. இப்போ பாருங்க what is 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square up to n square? ஞாபகம் இருக்கா? What is that? 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square up to n square, right? What is the formula for that? n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6. n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6. அதுதான் 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square up to n square ஓட வேல்யூ. அந்த மாதிரி டினாமினேட்டர்ல பாருங்க what is there? 1 plus 2 plus 3 up to n. Okay. What is it? 1 plus 2 plus 3 up to n means what? n into n plus 1 by 2 தானா? One plus 2 plus 3 up to n is what? n into n plus 1 by 2. Okay. இப்போ பாருங்க இதுல n into n plus 1 அப்படியே கேன்சல் ஆயிடும். 2 1s are 2 3s are. So what is the answer? 2n plus 1 into l divided by 3. இதுதான் center of mass ஓட x coordinate. ஓகேவா? So ஏன்னா because they are asking what is the distance of the center of mass from the fixed point. இப்போ நம்ம எடுத்த fixed point என்ன origin தானா? So means whatever the center of mass or x coordinate, right? அதுதான் distance. That is what is going to be the distance. ஓகேவா? So what is the answer for this பாருங்க? Option A, 2n plus 1 into l by 3. So இந்த மாதிரி questions வரதுக்கு there will be chances. Good, Maithili. Next என்னன்னா the significance of the center of mass. ஏன்னா because இதுல இருந்து தான் we have started, right? ஏன்னா because what is the main thing that we said? If you are having a system of particles, okay, அதில் இருக்கிற particles can have different kinds of motion. நிறைய விதமான motion இருக்கலாம். So overall நம்ம இந்த system of particles ஓட overall movement நம்ம எப்படி track பண்ண முடியும்? By tracking the movement of the center of mass. அங்கல இருந்து தான the idea of the center of mass has come. Okay. இப்போ என்ன we are going to see how the center of mass ஓட movement is going to explain the movement of the overall system of particles. Okay, so that is what we are going to call as the significance of the center of mass. Then that is what we are calling as the significance of the center of mass. Ipo parunga, what is the position vector of the center of mass? It will be equal to what? m1 r1 bar plus m2 r2 bar. Inga we are taking the discrete particle system madri. Okay, plus mn rn bar divided by m1 plus m2 plus m3 அந்த மாதிரி up to mn. So இதுக்கு பதிலா நம்ம என்ன சொல்லலாம்? This is the total mass of the system னு சொல்லலாம். அதுக்கு பதிலா நம்ம என்ன சொல்லலாம்? Total mass of the system. ஓகேவா? அப்படியே நம்ம அந்த capital M left side எடுத்துட்டு போனா it will go to the numerator. So பாருங்க capital M into center of mass ஓட position vector is equal to what? m1 r1 அந்த மாதிரி. ஓகேவா? இப்போ என்னன்னா we will try to take a derivative on both sides. ரெண்டு பக்கம் நம்ம என்ன பண்ணலாம்? We can take a derivative with respect to time. ஓகேவா? எடுத்தா பாருங்க m is a constant தானா? m into derivative of center of mass with respect to time is equal to இங்க பாருங்க m1 into derivative of r1 அந்த மாதிரி m2 into derivative of r2 அந்த மாதிரி m3 into அப்படியே வந்துட்டே இருக்கும் derivative of r3. Okay. So derivative of position vector of center of mass and சொன்னா what is it? அதோட velocity தானா? For any particle, what is the time derivative of its position vector? Velocity dana. So inga parunga, what is the time derivative of position vector of the particle 1 and the particle 1 oda velocity? And madri inga enna parunga, what is that particle 2 oda velocity, particle 3 oda velocity and madri. Okay, so inga enna varudhu parunga, what is the result that is coming? The mass of the entire system times the velocity of the center of mass. Mass of the entire system times velocity of the center of mass is equal to what? m1 v1 plus m2 v2 plus m3 v3 and madri. So we have to add up all the momentum of the system of particles. Ipo parunga, so ingala irundhu namakku we are going to get the first significance. Enna theriyuma? The total momentum of the system of particles. Paranga, what is it? The total momentum of the system of particles. Total momentum of system of particles. Adanadi m1 v1 plus m2 v2 adana total momentum of system of particles will be equal to what? The mass of the system multiplied by the mass of the system multiplied by the velocity of the center of mass. இது எப்படி தெரியுமா? So இதுதான் நம்ம சொன்னது. So the total சிஸ்டத்தில் இருக்கிற total particles are moving. அதோட எல்லா momentum நம்ம ஆட் பண்ணா என்ன? momentum is a vector quantity. So add பண்ணனா we cannot just add it like 1 plus 2 plus 3 அப்படி ஆட் பண்ண முடியாது. We have to consider the directions part also. இந்த எல்லா system of particles ஓட momentum, total momentum எடுத்து வெச்சுக்கோங்க. That is simply equal to what? இப்போ எல்லா system of particles நம்ம அப்படியே remove பண்ணிட்டு just replace this with one single particle. எங்க நம்ம replace பண்ண போறோம்? Center of mass locationல. Replace the entire system of particles ஒரே mass வெச்சு replace பண்ண போறோம். அப்படி replace பண்ணா whatever is the momentum of that particle, right? Paranga, what is the momentum of that particle going to be? Mass of that ena and ஒரு particle oda mass will be what? The entire mass of the system. அப்படிதானா? So mass of the system times the velocity of that particle. And the particle தான் நம்ம என்ன சொல்லுவோம்? Center of mass particle னு சொல்லுவோம். Okay, so that momentum is going to be equal to what? The momentum of the entire system of particles. புரியுதா? So this is how the center of mass or the motion, right, will be able to represent the overall motion of the system of particles. Okay, so the entire system of particles or the momentum, right, will be equal to what? It will be equal to the momentum of that center of mass particle and solla. So momentum of the center of mass particle, so now what is it? Because center of mass particle is supposed to have the entire mass, right? Center of mass particle is supposed to have the total mass. So total mass of the system into and the velocity of the center of mass. Okay, so this is the significance 1 and solla. This is the first significance. இது முடிஞ்சது. Okay, அடுத்து பார்க்கலாம். இப்போ என்னன்னா இன்னொரு தடவை we will take a derivative one more time. Okay, second time நம்ம derivative எடுக்கணும். இங்க எனக்கு ஆல்ரெடி velocity இருக்கா. Okay, so derivative of right side என்ன வரும்? m1 v1 plus m2 v2 அந்த மாதிரி. Okay, இப்போ பாருங்க இங்க அப்படிதானா? capital M is a constant, அப்படியே வெளிய வரும். Derivative of velocity of center of mass ன்னு சொன்னா what is it? Acceleration of center of mass is equal to, இங்க பாருங்க, m1 into derivative of the velocity of the first particle, which is what? Acceleration of particle. அந்த மாதிரி acceleration second particle, acceleration of third particle. Okay, so total mass of the system into acceleration of the center of mass. Total mass of the system into acceleration of the center of mass is equal to what? The mass times acceleration of particle. இது என்ன தெரியுமா? The force acting on the particle 1. அந்த மாதிரி this is what? Force acting on the particle 2. அந்த மாதிரி force acting on the particle 3. இப்போ என்ன தெரியுமா? Force acting on the particle 1 ன்னு சொன்னா பாருங்க, you take a particle 1. the particle 1 மேல there will be some external forces. Okay, அந்த மாதிரி there will be some internal forces also. Internal forces சொன்னா that is coming from either particle 2 ஆகட்டும் particle 3 ஆகட்டும், அதெல்லாம் என்னது, this is the internal forces. ஓகேவா? so force acting on the particle 1 ன்னு சொன்னா அதுக்கு ரெண்டு பார்ட்ஸ் வரும். என்னது, the external part ஓட component and internal சொன்னா that is because of the other particles. அந்த மாதிரி இங்கேயும் அப்படிதான். force acting on the particle 2 ன்னு சொன்னா what is it going to be, the force coming from the external sources, அந்த பார்ட் வரும். அந்த மாதிரி இன்டர்னல் பார்ட் வரும். ஓகே, இங்கேயும் அப்படிதான். ஸோ ஃபோர்ஸ் ஆக்டிங் ஆன் பார்ட்டிகல் 3 ன்னு சொன்னா வாட் இஸ் இட், அதோட எக்ஸ்டர்னல் பார்ட் வரும், இன்டர்னல். ஓகே, ஸோ இப்போ F1 plus F2 plus F3 ன்னு சொன்னா வாட் இஸ் இட், தட் இஸ் த force acting on particle 1 plus force acting on particle 2 plus force acting on particle 3. அந்த மாதிரி force ன்னு சொன்னா அதுல எக்ஸ்டர்னல் காம்பனன்ட்ஸ் வரும், இன்டர்னல் காம்பனன்ட்ஸ் வரும். இப்போ நீங்க கேர்ஃபுல்லா அப்சர்வ் பண்ணுங்க. internal components என்ன ஆகும் தெரியுமா, all the internal components right, they occur in pairs. இப்போ பாருங்க, இது particle 1 வெச்சுக்கோங்க, இது particle 2. particle 1 is creating a force of 10 newtons on particle 2 in the I cap direction வெச்சுக்கோங்க. then particle 2 will create a force on 1, same 10 newton force, but in what direction, exactly opposite, ஏன்னா action reaction pair. அதனால என்ன தெரியுமா, these internal forces அதெல்லாம் நம்ம ஆட் பண்ணும்போது we are adding action reaction pairs. இப்போ action reaction pair ஆட் பண்ணா vectorially what is it going to give us 0 தானா. ஏன்னா பாருங்க, particle 1 is creating a force of 10 newton towards the right side on particle 2. அப்ப அது என்னது, 10 newton into I cap வரும். same way particle 2 will create a force, அதை விட same 10 newtons தான் இருக்கும், but it will be in the opposite direction. so 10 newton into minus I cap வரும். இப்போ இந்த மாதிரி நம்ம எல்லா action reaction pairs add பண்ணா what is it going to be, totally it will be adding up to 0. so when we say force acting on particle 1 plus force acting on the particle 2 அப்படி நம்ம சொன்னா what is the conclusion in that, இந்த forceல ரெண்டு பார்ட்ஸ் வரும். ஒன்னு என்னது, the external part of the force acting on each and every particle. ரெண்டாவது என்ன, the internal force part. அந்த internal force ஓட total sum என்ன ஆயிடும், it will be becoming what, 0. okay, அது அப்படியே 0 ஆயிடும். 0 ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா what is the remaining part பாருங்க, mass of the total system into center of mass ஓட acceleration is equal to what, வெறும் இந்த external force ஓட parts மட்டும் remaining. what will be the remaining part, only the external force parts will be remaining. ஓகேவா? so external force acting on the particle 2 plus external force acting on the particle 1 அந்த மாதிரி plus external force acting on the particle 3. இதெல்லாம் நம்ம ஆட் பண்ணா what is this, this is the total external force acting on the system of particles. so external force acting on particle 1 plus external force acting on particle 2 plus external force acting on particle 3, what is it, total external force தானா. இங்க பாருங்க, the center of mass, இப்போ பாருங்க, this is our second significance. center of mass is going to behave like one single particle. இதென்ன பாருங்க, it is going to behave like one single particle which is moved due to the straight influence of the external force. இந்த எக்ஸ்பிரஷன் பாருங்க எப்படி வருது, F is equal to ma மாதிரி தானா. so total external force, இங்க பாருங்க what is the relation we are having, என்னது, what is the relation we are having, total external force is equal to what, mass of that entire system into acceleration of the center of mass. இது எப்படி தெரியுமா, if you replace all the particles by single particle at the center of mass, this is going to have the acceleration based on the total external force. This is like, following the Newton's second law மாதிரி தானா. this is like following the Newton's second law, F is equal to ma type. so the overall motion of the system of particles under the influence of the external forces, overall motion of the system of particles under the influence of the external forces can be represented by the acceleration of the center of mass. okay, இங்க என்னன்னா இதுல இருந்து we can get some interesting results. பாருங்க, if the net external force or the total external force is 0. அது ஒரு important condition. If this is 0 னு வெச்சுக்கோங்க. If F external is 0. 0 அடிச்சனா what is it meaning? It means that the center of mass or the acceleration is what? 0. Center of mass acceleration means what? 0 means the velocity of the center of mass will remain constant, right? Velocity of the center of mass remaining constant means the first result mass of the system into velocity of center of mass, that is equal to what? m1 v1 plus m2 v2 and the madri dana. So if there is no external force, in the result நம்ம already பார்த்திருக்கோம் எங்க, in case of conservation of momentum principle, the total momentum of all the particles, right, is going to be what? Conserved. இதுதானா? When there is no external force, total momentum of all the particles will be conserved, means velocity of the center of mass will remain the same. அது change ஆகாது. The center of mass or acceleration will be what? 0. Okay va? Adepo when the external force acting on the system of particles is 0. The external force illana center of mass or acceleration என்ன ஆகும்? 0 ஆகும். So which means the total momentum of the system of particles will be conserved. Okay va? So this is about the significance of the center of mass to explain the motion of the system of particles. இப்படி தான் வரும். இதுல என்னன்னா ரெண்டு பாயிண்ட்ஸ் மெயினா. என்னது? first point is total momentum of system of particles is equal to what? Mass of the system into velocity of the center of mass. அது ஒண்ணு. ரெண்டாவது என்ன? This Newton's second law. The total external force or impact, right, can be represented by the acceleration of center of mass. Total external force or impact can be represented by what? Acceleration of center of mass. அந்த மாதிரி external force இல்லைன்னா, if the net external force is 0, அப்ப என்ன வரும்? Center of mass acceleration 0 ஆயிடும், which will mean velocity of center of mass will be constant. That means what? And the system or momentum will remain the same. Total momentum of the system will be remaining same. அதுக்கு தான் நம்ம என்ன சொல்லலாம்? Conservation of momentum and சொல்லலாம். Okay va? So this is about the significance of the center of mass to explain the motion of the system of particles. Okay va? So பார்க்கலாம் இதுல என்ன மாதிரி questions வரலாம்னு சொல்லிட்டு. பாருங்க, two particles which are initially at rest. Initially they are at rest, means not moving, move towards each other under the action of their internal attraction. So why they are moving? They are moving because of the internal attraction. If their speeds are v and 2v at any given instant, for a given point of time they are like what? If one of them, two particles are there, okay, one of them is having a speed v, second then 2v, then the speed of the center of mass of the system will be, inga parunga, initially how they are at rest. Rest means what? Speed 0 dana. So initial momentum evla? Initial momentum is 0. Initial momentum is 0 means what? The total mass into velocity of center of mass is equal to 0 dana. Because when you add up all the particles to the momentum, that is equal to what? Mass of that entire system times velocity of the center of mass. That is a formula. So paranga, what is the velocity of the center of mass? Initially 0. Initially center of mass or the velocity is 0. Now the particles are moving, but how they are moving? They are moving because of the internal attraction. Means external force kadayadu. External force kadayadu. External force is not there, means center of mass or the acceleration 0, which means velocity of center of mass will remain the same. Paranga, what is the answer? They are asking, what is the center of mass of the speed of the system? What is it? 0 dana. Yenna? If there is no external force illana, center of mass or the velocity, whatever it is initially, right, adu appadiye irukum. So then this is the case of conservation of momentum. Yenna external force illana, conservation of momentum dana. Paranga, what is the answer for this? Option B is the answer. Another question paranga. Two blocks of masses 10 and 4 kg are connected by a spring of negligible mass and are placed on a frictionless horizontal surface. Eppadi rendu block edutittu we are connecting them by a spring. Okay va? So idu 10 kg nu vechikalam, idu 4 kg. They are on a smooth surface. Ippadi system irukka. an impulse gives a speed of 14 meter per second to the heavier block. Heavier block and sonna what is it? 10 kg dana. Heavier block and sonna what is it? 10 kg block. So nama kudutha impulse, right, is giving a speed of 14 meter per second to the 10 kg block in the direction of the lighter block, in the direction towards the lighter block. Okay va? Then the velocity of the center of mass is, initially we are assuming that both are at rest, right? So initially the impulse veru and the 10 kg mattum dhaan nama kuduthirkom. So idoda 4 kg oda velocity enna 0 only. So formula paranga, what is it? Total mass of the system, 10 plus 4 means 14. Okay va? 14 kg into velocity of center of mass is equal to what? m1 v1, 10 kg into 14 meter per second, plus m2 v2, 4 kg into 0, that's 0 add. So what is it? 14 kg into velocity of center of mass is equal to 140 kg meter per second. Kg cancel add. 14 ones are 14 tens. So center of mass velocity 10 meters per second. And maximum on the relations based on questions. Okay. So what is the formula we are using? m1 v1 plus m2 v2 is equal to what? Total mass of the system into velocity of the center of mass. What is the answer for this? 10 meter per second varum. So in the formula what is the formula we are using? Total mass into velocity of center of mass is equal to what? m1 v1 plus m2 v2 and madhirana. So we are having two particles only. Okay va? So this is about finding the velocity of the center of mass once we are giving the impulse. Okay va? Another question paranga. This is the question for 2012. Two persons of masses. One mass another 55 kg, another person 65 kg respectively, are at the opposite ends of a boat. Okay. Length of the boat 3 meters and the boat weight 100 kg. The 55 kg man walks up to the 65 kg man and sits with him. If the boat is in still water, the center of mass of the system shift by. Is a boat. Okay. So there is a still water. Okay. So this is the 55 kg person. Then the 65 kg person. So what is happening? The 55 kg person is walking up to the 65. He is walking up to the 65. Okay. So walk pannittu, this is the final situation. Final situation both are at the same point. Okay. They are asking by how much the center of mass will be shifting. Question is by how much the center of mass is actually shifting. Initially everything is at rest. The system and sonna, what is it? System means what? The 55 kg person and the 65 kg person including the boat. That's the system. Okay va? Now the 55 kg 65 kg boat, everything is at rest initially. Everything is at rest initially, right? Okay. Which means the velocity of center of mass is 0. And the formula m1 v1 plus m2 v2 on the formula. Okay. So velocity of center of mass is 0. Now when the 55 kg person is moving and going there, it is not because of some external force or influence. He is going by creating the internal force. Now he is a part of the system, right? He is moving means it is an internal phenomena. So external force external force what is it? Center of mass acceleration will not be there, means velocity of center of mass will remain the same. Already initial velocity is 0, which means center of mass or velocity will remain the same, which is 0, means center of mass or position shift. So what is the question that they are asking? If the boat is in still water, the center of mass shifts by how much? By how much the center of mass will shift? Center of mass shift, which means what is the answer? Answer C, which is 0. And because initially man 55 kg man, 65 kg man, both all are at rest, which means the velocity of center of mass is 0. External force that influence kadayadu, which means velocity of center of mass should remain the same, which means it should remain 0 only. It should remain 0 and sonna, what is the meaning of that? Center of mass or movement irukadu, means center of mass will not be shifting anywhere. Okay va? So அடுத்த question பாருங்க, this is a interesting model. A boy having a mass 40 kg is standing at one end A of a boat length 2 meter, which is at rest. So there is a boat. Okay. So he is standing at the end A. The boat length is 2 meters. Boat length is 2 meters. Okay. Initially this is at rest. The boy walks to the other end B of the boat and stops. He is trying to walk to the other end. Okay, so he is walking to the other end. Okay, and he is going to finally stop. What is the distance moved by the boat? They are not asking us what is the shift of center of mass. They are asking what is the shift in the center of mass location. They are asking the distance moved by the boat. They are giving us what is the mass of the boat. Mass of the boat is 15 kgs. What is the mass of the boat? 15 kg. What is the mass of the boy? 40 kgs. Okay. When the boy is moving towards the right, center of mass or the location should not change. Because the movement is internal. Boy is moving on the boat and so on, that is internal phenomena, right? So center of mass or location should not be changing. Which means what? When the boy is moving to the right side, right, boat will be coming to the left, so that the center of mass or position will be maintained the same. When the boy is moving towards the right side, the boat will move to the left, so that the center of mass will be maintained in the same location. Actually, when the boy is moving towards the right side, right, totally he is covering a distance of 2 meters on the boat. He is covering a distance, A and the B can reach he is covering a distance of what, 2 meters on the boat. On the situation, let us say that boat is moving to the left by a value x. Boat is moving to the left side by a value x. X. Okay. The net distance moved by the boy to the right side. What is the net distance? He is moving 2 meters on the boat, but boat itself is moving by x to the left, right. So net distance moved, it will be what? 2 minus x. The net distance moved by the boy to the right side is what? 2 minus x. Okay, the distance moved by the boat to the left, distance moved by the boat to the left side is what? X. To maintain the center of mass or location to be as it is, right, the mass of the boy times the net distance moved towards the right, which is what? 2 minus x. Okay, this is what we call as the moment of mass and solu. The moment of mass created by the movement of the boy to the right. What is it? The mass of the boy times the distance moved towards the right side. That should be equal to what? The moment of the mass created by the movement of the boat, that is to the left side. The boat is moving to the left side by a distance x, right. What is the mass of the boat? 15. That should be equal to what? 15 times x. So it is an important situation to solve the questions. Whenever we have 2 particles or 3 particles like that, if the center of mass position has to remain the same, the moment of mass created by all the objects, including the direction wise add panna, that will be giving us what? 0. Which means if the moment of mass created by the movement of the boy to the right side, that should be exactly compensated, or it should be exactly numerical wise equal to the moment of the mass created by the boat. so adula enna varudhu parunga 40 into 2 minus x means what? 80 minus 40x is equal to 15x. So 80 is equal to, up in the right side, that will be what? 40 plus 15 means 60. 55. So x and 80 by 55 means what? Then 16 by 11. That is x value. 16 by 11 sonna approximately 1.46 varum. So idea enna theriyuma? Boy is moving toward the right. So adanala his position is changing. What is the moment of mass created by the change in his position? 40 into 2 minus x. 2 minus x varudana because he is on the boat itself. So நம்ம என்ன assume பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம்? Boat is moving toward the left by x, which means அவங்களோட net displacement to the right side ன்னு சொல்லலாம். Net displacement to the right side என்னது? 2 minus x. Okay. And boat நீங்க தனியா பார்த்தா boat is having a mass of 15 kg. It is moving to the left by a value x. So the moment of mass for the boy to the right should be equal to the moment of mass for the boat to the left. அப்போதான் அந்த center of mass or location will be maintained same. ஏன்னா இங்க external force ஓட impact கிடையாது. Initially the boat and the boy are at rest, means center of mass is at rest. External force ஓட influence இல்லைன்னா center of mass will not change the velocity, means it will continue to be at rest. Okay va? Means அதோட position change ஆகாது. அதுக்காக what is the required condition? Whatever is the moment of mass created by the moment of the boy to the right should be equal to the moment of mass. Moment of mass என்ன தெரியுமா? Mass of the respective particle times distance moved by it. அதுக்கு நம்ம என்ன சொல்லலாம்? Moment of mass ன்னு சொல்லலாம். ஓகேவா? So இது ஒரு important model of question. இங்க பாருங்க, this is another straightforward question, same அந்த concept தான். Consider two particle system with particles having mass m1 and m2. ஓகேவா? So என்ன இருக்கா? m1 இருக்கா, m2 இருக்கா. If the particle, first particle is pushed towards the center of mass through a distance d. இப்போ எங்கேயோ ஒரு இடத்துல we are having center of mass வச்சுக்கோங்க. First particle ன்னு சொன்னா m1, we are pushing it by a distance d. By what distance should the second particle be moved so as to keep the center of mass in the same location? So center of mass should remain the same. அதுக்கு நம்ம என்ன பண்ணணும்? We should push this second particle also by some distance towards the center of mass. So எப்படி தெரியுமா? The moment of mass for the particle, moment of mass for particle already நம்ம சொல்லிருக்கோம். What is it? m1 times the displacement of it or the distance moved by it. That should be compensated by what? The moment of mass that is given for the particle 2, means m2 into x ன்னு வெச்சுக்கலாம். That x is what we have to find. அந்த x தான் நம்ம calculate பண்ணோம். So அப்படியே x என்ன? What is it? m1 by m2 into d. அதுதான் x value. So second particle நம்ம x distance move பண்ண வெச்சுக்கோங்க towards center of mass. அப்ப என்ன ஆகும்? The moment of mass created by the particle 1 ஓட movement will be exactly compensated by the moment of mass for the particle 2. So adhanala center of mass will remain in the same position. Center of mass is going to remain in the same position. Okay va? So இந்த மாதிரி questions வரலாம். இது ஒரு important model of question. In fact என்ன தெரியுமா? இந்த 2020 ல they have given a question like this. ஒரு புள்ளி கொடுத்துட்டு they have given the two blocks hanging on the pulley. அதுல என்ன they have said what is the acceleration of the system ன்னு கேட்டிருக்காங்க. They have asked what is the acceleration of the system. Okay. Some people tried challenging the question saying acceleration of the system ன்னு சொன்னா it should be the acceleration of center of mass ன்னு சொல்லிட்டு they tried challenging the question, but அது அவங்கள accept பண்ணல in their convention, right? Acceleration of system ன்னு சொன்னா I think we discussed about this in the Newton law chapter. என்னது 3m mass will go down with some acceleration, m will go up with the same amount of acceleration, and the common acceleration தான் நம்ம என்ன சொல்லுவோம்? Acceleration of the system ன்னு சொல்லுவோம். So that is what they also said. அவங்கள ஏதாவது clarification கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. What is it? When they have asked acceleration of the system and சொன்னா they were talking about that common acceleration. Okay, but இங்க இருந்து பாருங்க, this is a different question. Two masses 3m and m are suspended from the light frictionless pulley, எல்லாம் as it is that, with the help of a massless string. A massless string வச்சிட்டு these are connected. If the system is set free, the acceleration of center of mass will be, another we have to calculate what is the acceleration of center of mass. Acceleration center of mass என்ன தெரியுமா? இது பாருங்க, first we will try to get இங்க எப்படி இருக்குன்னு சொல்லிட்டு பார்க்கலாம். So we know what is the formula for that common acceleration. ஞாபகம் இருக்கா? What is it? m2 minus m1 by m2 plus m1 into g, அதுதானா? So what is it? 3m minus m by 3m plus m into g. இது என்னது? 2m by 4m into g, that is g by 2. So 3m will go down with g by 2, m will go up with g by 2. இங்க என்ன, we can even give some directions. Downwards நம்ம minus j ன்னு எடுக்கலாம், upward we can take it as what, j. ஓகேவா? இப்போ பாருங்க, what is the relation for the accelerations? ஞாபகம் இருக்கா? What is the relation for the acceleration? Total mass 4m into acceleration center of mass is equal to what? m1a1 plus m2a2, அந்த மாதிரி தானா? So m1 means what? g by 2 j cap plus m2 means what? minus g by 2 j cap. அவ்வளவுதான். இதுல இருந்து we are able to get the answer. பாருங்க, இதுல இருந்து we will be able to get the answer. பாருங்க, what is it? right side என்ன இருக்கா? first என்ன, we will try to cancel the m. ரெண்டு பக்கம் அப்படியே அந்த m cancel பண்ணலாம். m cancel பண்ணா what we will have? left side ல 4 times acceleration center of mass is equal to right side என்ன வருது? g by 2 into j minus 3g by 2 into j. What is it? minus g. ஓகேவா? so acceleration center of mass என்ன? minus g by 4 into j. So minus g by 4 into j and so now what is it? It is indicating that the center of mass or acceleration is downwards. So what is the answer? It will be g by 4 downwards. பாருங்க, what is the acceleration center of mass? It will be what? g by 4 downwards. Okay, so this is the acceleration of center of mass. இது எப்படி நம்ம calculate பண்ணுது? By using this formula. What is the formula? Total mass into center of mass or acceleration is equal to what? m1a1 plus m2a2. ஞாபகம் இருக்கா? அதுல இருந்து we are able to get what is the acceleration of the center of mass. In the pulley system என்ன, we can have, இது ஒரு important thing, when they say acceleration of the system and சொன்னா, especially in that pulley kind of system, right? அங்க என்ன, they are generally talking about the common acceleration பத்தி. ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்கா இந்த மாதிரி கேட்டா, like they are asking specifically what is the acceleration of the center of mass, அப்படி கேட்டா we have to find acceleration of center of mass. ஓகேவா? so this is about another interesting question. But before we wind up, right, and the concept of center of mass fixed, எப்போ, when the initial state everything is at rest வச்சுக்கோங்க, and there is internal movement. Internal movement means what? External force கிடையாது, external force is 0. okay, அப்ப என்ன, center of mass will be fixed. center of mass ஓட movement இருக்காது. அங்க என்னது, the motion of the particles, right? We have related them. What is the concept by which we related them? By saying that the moment of mass of the first particle, அப்படி சொல்லிட்டு we have given the relations, right? அது எப்படி வருதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு பார்க்கலாம். Look at this. If you have a center of mass or location, the x coordinate எடுத்து பாருங்க. x coordinate will be equal to what? For example, we are having two particles in வச்சுக்கோங்க. Two particles are there. So what is the center of mass or x coordinate? It will be what? Then it will be what? m1x1 plus m2x2 by total mass. Okay, so is equal to m1x1 plus m2x2. What we are saying is we are changing the x1 value, x2 value, and internal particles or movement varudhu. Okay, so which means what? The position is becoming what? x1 plus some change delta x1. And the madri inga enna varudhu? x2 plus some change varudhu delta x2. Okay, but the center of mass of location change agakudadu. Enna? Because there is no external force, adanala center of mass of location will be fixed. Okay, so பாருங்க what is going to come for us. இந்த ரெண்டு எக்ஸ்பிரஷன்ஸ்லயும் we are having the same left hand side ஒன்று தானா? equation 1 equation 2 ரெண்டுத்துல என்ன? left hand side same. அப்ப என்ன பண்ணலாம்? ஈக்குவேட் பண்ண என்ன வருது பாருங்க? m1x1 plus m2x2 is equal to இங்க என்னது? m1x1 plus m1 into delta x1. அந்த மாதிரி இங்க என்னது? m2x2 plus m2 into delta x2. பாருங்க m1 x1 cancel ஆயிடும், m2 x2 cancel ஆயிடும். So what are we having? 0 is equal to m1 into delta x1 plus m2 into delta x2. So பாருங்க what is the final conclusion? m1 into delta x1, right, will be equal to what? Minus m2 into delta x2. So இதுதான் நம்ம சொல்றது. If we calculate the moment of mass for one particle, that is distance moved by the particle into other mass. If you consider the directions, right, directions நம்ம consider பண்ணா இங்க பாருங்க. So இது என்னது? change in position, we can take it like a vector மாதிரி. The other particle oda movement, right, should be exactly in the opposite direction. இப்போ நம்ம அந்த boat case ல என்னது? The boy is moving toward the right side means boat will move to the left. அப்படிதானா? So அது இன்னொரு கேஸ் நம்ம பார்த்திருக்கோம். What is it? If two particles are there, one is moving towards center of mass, means அந்த கேஸ்ல என்ன? We have taken this case, right, m1 and m2 இங்க இருக்க center of mass. If one of them is coming towards center of mass, means that is moving towards the right. அப்ப என்ன? The other also should move towards the center of mass, then only their movements or the direction will be opposite. Okay va? So idhil enadhu? The movements of these particles should be in opposite direction. Adu mattum kedaiyadu, we should also have a relation. What is the relation? The moment of mass for the particle 1 given by the respective displacement m1 into delta x1 will be equal to what? Minus times m2 into delta x2. And the concept that we use பண்ணிருக்கோம். Minus or significance enna? Minus talks about the direction part. Minus or significance enna? Minus talks about the direction part alone. Okay va? So this is what is the case of initially all the particles at rest. இது ஒரு important model of question. ஏன்னா நிறைய இந்த மாதிரி questions frame பண்ணலாம். All the things will be at rest initially. அப்பனா initially center of mass or velocity will be 0. External force act ஆகலனா acceleration 0. அதனால velocity will be remain the constant. So எல்லா இடத்துலயும் velocity will be what? Same. 0 for the center of mass. Means center of mass ஓட movement இருக்காது. Which means what? If the particles are internally moving, அதுக்கு நடுவுல we'll have a relation. What is it? Their moment of masses including directions நம்ம பார்த்தா they should be adding up to 0. Moment of masses including the directions நம்ம calculate பண்ணா they should be adding up to what? 0. Which means நம்ம பார்த்த example மாதிரி, like the boy is moving towards the right side, then boat has to move to the left. Okay, so that whatever is the moment of mass for the boy motion will be equal to the moment of mass for the boat motion, and already they are in opposite directions. Okay va? So இது ஒரு important concept. இப்படிதான் அந்த result வரும். Okay, already நம்ம இதுக்கு முன்னாடி problems solve பண்ணும்போது ஞாபகம் இருக்கா? So இங்க என்னது? This is what we use, right? இங்க பாருங்க, the m1 is moving towards the right side by a distance d. அப்ப என்னது? m2 has to move to the left by a distance x. அதுக்கு நடுவுல what is the relation we used? Moment of mass m1 into அதோட displacement. இங்க ஏன் நம்ம மைனஸ் போடலன்னா, because already we are considering that m1 is moving towards the right and m2 is moving towards the left. அதனால we just equate the magnitudes. Okay, அந்த மாதிரி இங்கேயும் அப்படிதான். Like in the case of the boy moving on the boat, so he is moving to the distance 2 meters, means boat is moving by x to the left and நம்ம assume பண்ணிருக்கோம். அதுல இருந்து the net movement of the boy to the right side எவ்வளவு? 2 minus x. ஏன்னா he is sitting on the boat only, right? So அதனால the net movement எவ்வளவு வரும்? 2 minus x. So moment of mass for the boy towards the right side, அதனது 40 into 2 minus x is equal to what? the moment of the boat to the left side, adanadi 15 into x. Okay, so this is a very important model of question paranga. So this is about the center of mass and adoda significance. Okay, அடுத்த கிளாஸ்ல என்னன்னா we are going to start with the next leg of this chapter. அது என்ன about the angular motion. So angular motion வந்து we will come to the idea of the rotational motion. Okay va? So we'll see in the next class.